There's hope for a new generation. I picked up my daughter and her friends from camp yesterday, and I was all prepared to put Taylor Swift on. And I said, what do you guys want to listen to? And they were like, Michael Jackson. And I went, Michael Jackson? It's the best thing I've ever heard. Ian Beckles in the studio with us. We have a lot of things to do this hour. Ian's here. We got an open letter from Galvin we got to get to, and then Dom will join us 9 o'clock hour to take your legal calls. One of the greatest of all time, if we found out tomorrow, if Michael wrote a book and it said in that book, and then I started molesting children, would you still listen to his music?
Yes.
Yeah, of course you have to.
Yeah.
I think you did anyways.
You don't think he did?
I do think you did.
Oh, I don't know, man.
Listen, okay, Michael Jackson, is he a good person? I don't know him.
I don't know, yeah.
Is R. Kelly a good person? I don't know him.
No, I pretty much I think I can say guarantees. No.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, but there's a lot of people that aren't good people that made fantastic music.
Yes.
So if you go back to the old music, half of them cats were sleeping with 16-year-olds.
Oh, yeah.
Most of them were singing and talking about sleeping with 16-year-olds.
Zeppelin was doing stuff with mud sharks. You know what I mean? Yeah.
How about the guy who lives here, Gary Puckett? He's begging the girl, you're a much too young girl. Like, what is she, 9? Like, I mean, 16 is young. Much too young.
Yeah.
I mean, he was like, he was in the hallway one time recording something for Eagle, and we brought him to the studio, and we were like, you looking back at that song, it's a little weird. And he was like, no. He's like, I'm telling her to go away. And I'm like, no, you're saying I can't control myself.
Yeah.
Go away. And he was like, oh, no.
Why are you talking to her like that?
Yeah.
Why are you in that situation?
Yeah.
But we were talking about the other day. Did you see Jack White came out and said about Guy Fieri and Joe Rogan and Dana White and all these guys that they were, talking to Trump at the UFC. Right. And he's like, how dare you talk to him? And blah, blah, blah. If you don't talk to people that are bad people, you're not going to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
People do bad stuff. Everybody does bad stuff. Yeah. And like you said, back in the 70s and the 60s, some of the stuff that they were doing, yeah. You're not going to be able to listen to any music. You're not going to be able to talk to anyone. You're not going to be able to see any movies. You're not going to be able to do anything.
I think that if you don't support a president, you don't like the president, but then you have an opportunity to meet the president, you still have to be respectful. It's the highest office in the land. You could not be a Catholic and meet the Pope and be like, have respect for the Pope. I would be the same way with Gandhi if I would have met Gandhi.
I saw a thing that had Guy Fieri and Trump, and it said maybe their hair wanted to meet each other.
I don't know, man. I watched that last night. The news is running wild with Jack White. And, I just think that that's somebody who knows how to get their name in the news.
I saw it had just all the comments about Jack White. He needs to worry about writing a good song. Yeah. He needs to worry about that. You know what I mean? It's just like everybody was ripping on him.
Who did he say that to? Did he post it on social media?
He posted it on his Instagram, and he said, this isn't a debate. This is a statement or whatever.
Well, listen, having been playing ball, so the perception of people have from just interviews is ridiculous. Like people say, well, he's such a good person.
Yeah.
Or he's such a good father. How the hell do you know and you've never met somebody?
Hey, listen, that bothers me
too.
When people say it about Sapp. Sapp had a bad reputation for being a bad guy and for not being gracious with his fans. We know that. But I only know in all the years I've been friends with him and hung out with him and socially and all that stuff, I've seen it twice. Mm-hmm. Now, granted, I know it's there more, but I've seen it twice. This is from a guy who's hung out with him.
Yeah.
The people that have no idea but think that they know, that bothers me, especially now in the past 10 years. Retired Sapp is the happiest, jolliest goddamn fellow since Santa Claus. I have never seen a happier guy who is grown up and is smarter and nicer and all that stuff. And when people are like, ugh, I hate him. Why? Because you heard a story? That drives me nuts.
Well, a lot of people, once again, they hear something and they want to latch on. As I hung up with Warren many times.
Yeah.
Early Warren, late Warren, he has changed.
He's changed.
Okay. This is what some people have to understand. He doesn't like people that much, okay? And everybody knows he doesn't like to be approached, okay? That's a fact. He doesn't like to be approached by a lot of people.
Because let me tell you, in the last 2 years that we've done the Bud Light tailgate party at Raymond James Stadium, Sapp rolls up in there on a bicycle, walks in by himself. I watched him walk down the street in the brightest colored shirt I'd ever seen, and I was like, that is a Hall of Famer and one of the best players to ever play on this team, just walking down the street and jolly, and then walked into the tailgate. And the minute he walks in, people are like, I want to take a picture, but I heard he's a dick. And then there he is, snapping and smiling with everybody. I also think that in his life, he has probably had so many moochers and so many people who have used him that he has felt like I don't work for you. I'm not your friend. I'm not here to make your life easier. I work my ass off. But then I think when you get older, you kind of realize that's not really how it's going with fans. And I think that that's what he went through.
Well, I think as somebody who's in the public eye like yourself,
yeah,
you like people more than Warren. You say that,
yes,
right?
Yes, 100%, but we're in different businesses.
So do I.
Yeah.
And I was in the same business as Warren.
Yeah.
Now, but I'm not Warren Sapp, okay? So I get approached, but I've never said no to anything. Never.
And you're a dick if you do.
Well, okay, yes. And I've seen Warren say no.
Yeah,
okay,
so have I.
But everybody knows he doesn't like to be approached. So if you approach him and he curses you out, what are you complaining about? He doesn't love to be, and you said...
You know it. You hear the story. I asked him one time. I was like, if you're out and one of your fans approaches you, how can you be... and he didn't say anything. What he said to me was, I am out in public shopping. I can't have a private life. I can't do this. He's like, because I play football on Sunday, I can't live my life during the week. And I think that comes from a history of people impeding on, who owns Warren Sapp, who does this.
Sure.
And I think he's finally like, I'm trying to be myself now, And no, it is different when you're in the public eye. You lose that.
Sure.
You lose that. I happily lose it. Every time somebody says to me, "Hey, I listen to the show," it makes me feel as happy as they did the first time. So I don't have that, but I'm in the field of trying to entertain people and make them happy, and I don't see them, so I don't know the feedback until I get it. You know what I mean?
You still have people that step over line.
Yeah,
there's perpetual line steppers.
100%.
Like I once again, I embrace anybody approaching me, but I can remember some situations where I'm eating and literally putting the fork in my mouth.
Yeah.
As somebody's grabbing my arm. Hey, I hate to bother you.
Yeah.
And I'm like pulling my arm down while I'm eating, and I'm like, oh, really, you do? And I'm always good at the end. But if
people don't know the boundaries,
they don't know the boundaries, and I see it sometimes. Now I've been with Warren a couple times, and I was like, that was a little bit much, brother. Like I said, that was a little bit much. But at the end of it, if you ask me what kind of person Warren is, he's a loyal friend. That's all I know. That's all I know.
And that's the other thing. I always say to people, I can't judge anybody until I can only judge them on the way they've treated me.
Correct.
And we joke about Chidi a lot. I met Chidi a couple of times. Sometimes he was cool. Sometimes he was a dick. And I think I'm probably the same way. Sometimes you're in a good mood. Sometimes you're not. So it's only the way that it affects me. I'm never going to let somebody, except Pete, stupid Pete. Pete's my best friend, and he'll be like, oh, that guy, he's a dick. Don't talk to him. And I'll be like, what happened? He's like, they screwed me over on this thing. And I'll be like, that guy is dead to me. And then like a year later, Pete will be eating dinner with that guy. And I'll go, I thought, we made up. Well, you can't make up, and you already made me hate him. He does it to me all the time.
But that happens all the time when somebody says, you have to understand it's one person's perception of one person.
Yeah.
But we don't hear the story. We didn't hear the story of why they don't like each other.
Right.
Because there's some times where Pete will probably tell you a story, you go, well, that was your fault.
Yeah.
Right? So you just don't know the story.
But I got to remain loyal to Pete. So even though I know it's Pete's fault, I got to be like, all right,
I get that.
That guy's out, I don't know. It's funny to me how people will think they, go by a rumor and run their whole life. That really bugs the hell out of me. I have pictures from the tailgate of Warren with men, women, kids, there's also something very weird to some of these people. When I don't mind it, when an adult man wants to take a picture with you, that is kind of awkward in a situation. They're putting their arm around you. I don't even mean like a gay thing. It's just kind of a weird for some people. For me, I don't care. I don't care at all. And I think that's one of the things you have to take into consideration too. I remember Rosie O'Donnell at the height of her fame. She had to make like an announcement. She's like, I will not take pictures with adults. I will not sign autographs for adults. I'll do it for kids, but adults are adults. You shouldn't be asking another adult for a picture. And I thought that was pretty rough.
No,
but
I'm not on Rosie O'Donnell's side.
No.
For a whole lot of anything.
But there's just people are different. You know what I mean? It doesn't make them bad. It's just some people you gotta try and respect what their wishes are.
And you said Warren thinks that people want something from him when they approach him. But I'll ask you this question: don't they?
They do, 100%.
That's the thing. So every time somebody approaches him, they either want to invade his space or for him to give an autograph. And once again, that's all cool. But like, I'll give you an example. my wife had my ex-wife had a charity that she needed something signed for. Okay,
Right.
so I hit up Warren. I go, yo, Warren, can you hook me up with this? He goes, oh man, I'm busy, but meet me here at this time. And he met me. He drove, opened up the Benz window, smoke billows out. I give him the football. He signs the football. Dap him up. Love you, brother.
Yeah.
He left.
Yeah.
He went out of his way. I walked into the Buccaneer locker room. I didn't know Brad Johnson, all right? I said, hey, Brad, Ian Beckles. He goes, hey, Ian, pleased to meet you. I go, hey, my wife has a charity, blah, blah. What's your charity? He grabs the football. He signs. He goes, you want me to sign it to somebody? You go, no. I go, hey. He goes, hope it all turns out well. Cool.
Yeah.
So those are two examples. Keyshawn Johnson sitting on it, and I wouldn't urinate on him. I go, hey,
he's a bad person.
Well, he's a bad person. Good, thank you.
Yeah.
I go, hey, Keyshawn, and I knew Keyshawn because I was in the locker room with him in the Jets. So he doesn't remember it, but I said, hey, Keyshawn, do you mind signing this for my wife for a charity? And he's sitting in the locker that I invaded for 7 years. He's sitting in my locker, and he barely looks at me, and he grabs the football, and he signs it, and he gives it back to me, and he doesn't even look up. I sat there and looked at him for like 3 seconds, and the bad guy at his shoulder goes, "Don't do it." Like I was about to just lay into the dude, but that's the difference. Like Keyshawn Johnson, everybody has Perception. He's a good guy. Get out of here.
I have
a perception of that guy. Never.
I have never seen a good side of him ever.
Thank you.
When he got cut for the rest of the season, I got a bunch of players calling me and telling me and like celebrating. Telling me, hey, nobody knows yet, but this just happened. This just happened.
Sure.
First interaction with Keyshawn, I walk into the Bucks locker room and I'm wearing a Yankee hat, and he looks at me and he goes, "New York, I hate New York." And I look at him and I go, "Yeah, most New York hates you." And he goes, "True."
He goes, not upset.
I said it, and Pete's butt puckered, and then Keyshawn looked at me and goes, "True." Walked away.
But what did Keyshawn Johnson say? He was traded. He was traded by the coach that he said loved him.
Yeah.
Who trades good football players?
No.
And then you were sent home.
Listen, he could have been. He was a great football player,
no doubt.
Yeah, but I think that nobody talks about him in those great levels because he was such a jerk off.
He's not a Hall of Famer, though.
Nah, I don't think he did enough.
Well, there was years he had 110 catches and 1 touchdown.
Yeah,
that's not a Hall of Famer.
It was so funny. I used to say with Keyshawn when he played here, you throw Keyshawn a 7-yard dump pass, he can't catch it. You throw it where he's got to go up in between two guys and catch it between his legs. He does it with no problem.
Well, he catches everything. He just doesn't get anything extra.
Yeah, right.
Very slow. Yeah. Very, very, very slow.
Oh, whatever.
But one time I said something about him on the radio, and I think Scott Reynolds from the Pewter Report said, Keyshawn's looking for you. I go, why?
Yeah.
Because he doesn't like what you said about him. I go, tell him I'll be there today.
Yeah.
And I was never there. And I walked up. I go, Keyshawn, I heard you wanted to see me. He goes, No, man, no. He's not. So when I ask people about him, when I ask Sap about him, he goes basically he's the fakest.
Yep.
Negro, but he didn't say that word on the planet.
I'll tell you, I love when people are like, "Hey, this guy heard you said something. He's looking for you." I go, "Oh, tell him I'm in the same. I'm in the same place for 20 hours a week.
Right.
It's right here in this building. No joke. I'm right here.
Let's go.
Yeah. Don't come here though. You'll get killed if you come here."
Facts.
Ian Beckles is here with us. I finally got to go hang out at Ian's Opium Den on West Shore Boulevard. It's of course not that, but I love calling it that.
Yeah.
So I'm in Clearwater Beach, and I need a key. And my buddy Ben is eating at what's that place over there? The restaurant on the water there.
Pavilion?
No, further down on what the hell is it?
Lulele?
Clear Sky?
No, I'm not doing the rest of the
Long
show.
John Silver?
No, it's over by you. It's past. It's off Gandy and West Shore area down there. Hula Bay.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, I will stop the show until I think of the name. They're at Hula Bay, so I drive from Clearwater Beach to Hula Bay to pick up this key. He's nice enough to run it out to me while he's eating and give me the key. So on the way back, I see Ian's Opium Den just rocking, and I go, you know what? I bang a Yui, I pull in, and I'm like, let me see what's going on here. Now I'm telling you what I expected to see when I walked in was you and 2 other stoners sitting on 3 different chairs watching TV getting high, and I was like, that's what I expect. Instead, I'm gonna tell you exactly what I saw. I walk in, and there's 2 8.5 girls sitting at this table playing some sort of hippie Chinese checkers or something. Then I go over and there's a bar, and in that, like a kava bar, and in that bar there's like 3 customers getting stuff and a guy preparing it, and another guy sitting at the bar with his laptop on the thing and headphones watching like a movie or something. Then I'm just walking around now. I have no idea what's going on. I got to pee. I'm like, I'm trying to find a bathroom. I roll around the corner and there's like pool tables and all these dart games and all this stuff. And here comes Ian just rolling. He's like, what's up? And I'm like, hey.
I saw you coming in.
Yeah. I'm like, I love this opium den. I want to live here now.
Right?
That if you said to me, like, that's a basement in the 70s is what it is.
Yeah.
It's the most comfortable, just relaxing place I've
But
seen
you
in
know
a
where
while.
you know where it comes from? A
No.
basement in the 70s.
Yeah.
It really, because my uncle, Uncle Don, who's passed, I grew up in his basement. Okay, every time people party, we were in his basement.
Yeah.
And he had like velvet pictures. Like I always look at my face, like, where's this from? And I realize it's from my uncle.
Is this in Canada?
Yeah, in Canada.
Okay.
But he's West Indian, so he had like some African art and
Right,
different stuff.
right.
So that's
So,
where my flavor comes.
Now I'll give you the in New York, my Uncle Joe had an awesome basement with a built-in bar, and my grandfather and my grandmother in their first house in New Jersey, same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now my grandfather had the big area with the built-in bar and the '60s furniture, and then he had like bedrooms for his older kids down there. That must have been the coolest thing ever. And then he had one of those pianos that plays by itself.
Mm.
Oh, dude,
best.
that was
Yeah,
in
man.
the '70s. They were the king. But my Uncle Joe's bar is where we had all the Christmas Eve and all the parties and all that stuff down there. And it was very similar, except no West Indian. I'm saying like we had all the
Understandable.
Guinea stuff, a lot of
Yeah.
Italian horns,
Yeah, yeah.
a lot of
I wore my Italian horn for you.
yeah. Everybody drinking anisette. You know what I'm saying? So it's a
Out
little
of what?
different. Anisette.
That's it.
I think a little anisette.
How does that?
That's a little
Okay.
Tastes like licorice.
yeah.
It's
It's like ouzo. Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh, I had a very, very long night on ouzo a long time ago.
Yeah.
Cannot drink that anymore.
Listen, a Greek girl will get you there with the ouzo.
I like Greek girls.
Who doesn't?
Yeah, that's a good question.
So anyway, the basements were the cool spot.
Mm-hmm.
We just don't have any basements here because in our basement is water
Yeah.
and sinkholes.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite memories of being over at Ian's Opium Den is we were me, Pap, and Ian were hanging out in the back, and where the pool table is. And some kid came up to Ian and he was like, "Hey, are you controlling the music?" And he was like, "Yeah, yes, I am." And he goes, "Hey, can you change the song?" And he just looks up at him and goes, "Nah." Looks at him and was like, "Hell yeah."
I mean, but, these young kids want me to play Lizzo and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. He did, I think, ask for Lizzo.
Lizzo's
I
not the
think
vibe in the opium
No.
den.
No.
No.
By the way, we don't actually sell opium.
No, no, no.
I don't want
No,
people knocking on my door here. I heard you're selling opium.
There
weed
is a medical doctor there for cannabis on days.
Fridays. Yes.
Fridays. But no, there is no opium. There is no cocaine or anything like that. There's just a bunch of very comfortable people in there.
Yeah.
They're very calm and like we're literally to the point where somebody raises their voice, you escort it out.
Yeah.
Like we're not doing that here.
If somebody raises their voice, 10 guys go, man, if I wasn't so stoned, I would throw you out.
Damn right.
Honestly, I now, I don't know. I know you, so I could just saunter in the front door. Anybody? It's open to anybody?
It's open to everyone. By the way, it's called Dignitary Tea and Kava House.
Yeah, no open.
And it's open to everybody. And like, there's a lot of people that haven't experienced kava and kratom in their life. A lot of people.
Okay, so my wife asked me the other day, what is kratom?
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I don't know. Kava and kratom, I'm confused. I know I ate one of them and I crapped for 3 days. So I don't necessarily know it was that did it. But also, sometimes when you introduce new stuff to your body, it does that. So I'm not against
Facts,
it.
yes.
And I would be willing to try it again. It did give me a little bit of a not a buzz like being drunk, but a little bit of a weird feeling, which I kind of tingling.
Yeah, and you're supposed to get a tingling with kava in the back of your throat.
Yeah.
Which is a numbing thing. And if you
That's
have,
what it is, more numbing.
and kava has a reverse tolerance to where if I have one kava, I get a feeling.
Yeah.
But if you first start drinking, it takes you 4 or 5. So
Okay.
I think the more you drink, the less it takes.
All right.
And kratom is like a botanical tea. It's actually,
It's a tea. Okay.
It's in the coffee family, and there's different strains. Red, white, green, yellow, and they just give you different feelings.
Which one do I want?
Depends what you want to be up or you want to be down.
Yeah.
I'm already up.
Okay, we'll give you
Yeah.
some red then.
So,
I'm a red guy.
So people tell me that about pot. They're like, you can have a
Yeah,
sativa,
indica,
or
sativa. They're all the same to me. I'll be honest with you. They're all the same to me. Yes.
Yeah.
I just want that good.
Yeah, I take it and I just laugh harder at Tom Segura than I did normally.
It's funny. I went to my brother's in Kingston, Ontario this weekend, and he just loves comedy.
Yeah.
Okay, and I brought your name up, and we watched Segura's stand up, and we also watched The Machine.
Oh, you did?
And I'd be honest with you. I was waiting for him to be rubbing his belly.
Right. Just be silly.
It was a good plot.
The story is great, especially if you know the
is.
original story, and it's just everything was so funny, just a constant, nonstop, dumb, funny stuff.
There's little things, and my brother says, "Don't you know him?" I said, "I don't know him, but I've met him a couple of times, and he's real cool." And there's little things in the movie that I think because he's from this area were just a little bit more funny.
When he throws up and puts it in his pocket is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. He was like, I didn't know what to do. No, it's so funny.
It's got a lot of Austin Powers in it.
Yeah. It's kind of did you notice? I when I saw the movie in the theater, I looked at it, and at the end, like towards the end, he's outside and there's graffiti on the wall. It says Thomas Fat. You saw it, dude. Moose just put it up yesterday. Like Moose just found that. I thought it was pretty glaring in the movie. I started laughing, and he even said there's a joke in there. He's like, "My friend Tom." And
he said, my fat friend Tom or something like that.
And then Tom crushed him in the
Sledgehammer.
the special, the sledgehammer.
Yeah, he did.
He was like, "Yeah, we all heard your story of the mechanic or whatever it is." when he tells that story about his mother with the edibles, dude, I was dying, and I don't think my wife knew, but I was on a little bit of an edible that night, and it was 100 times funnier to me. And I loved it. I loved it. Segura's special Sledgehammer is on Netflix, and I promise, sober or not, you'll like it.
My
It's
brother
funny.
turned me on to Tom Segura's mother farting too.
Oh, yeah.
I've never seen that. It's gorgeous,
dude. The way he talks to his mother and those, and the fact that Segura speaks Spanish so well with that big white head of his is so funny. All right, tell me about. I read about this yesterday. We talked about it before, but the Canadelic. This is the Comic-Con of drugs.
Correct.
And good drugs, not the bad ones, but the one that we find out now have had such benefits medicinally to people from. Like Galvin was talking about this morning with the weed, with the marijuana, with the joint pain and swelling and all that stuff. But the psychedelics that are being used in microdosing and other stuff for things like people with panic attacks and anybody that's got severe mental issues, they're finding out that microdosing some of these things are really evening them out and helping them out.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's to a point now where we have to understand a lot of things that have been fed to us has been BS.
Yes.
Okay? Like Reefer Madness was, which I believe was even filmed here in Tampa. Okay?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was filmed here in Tampa. It's a propaganda film.
Yeah,
okay?
100%.
But people thought that was real.
Yeah.
Okay, but that mentality has been around for a long time, and it's to a point now where there's so much knowledge now that people aren't saying stupid things anymore.
Sure.
So
I will tell you that I take medication for anxiety. I've talked about it before. My wife does as well. That means the two of us have no doubt passed that along to our children.
Sure.
And my son showed early signs of that, of having anxiety, and he's just like my wife. My son smokes pot, and I'm not mad about it at all.
Sure.
I don't want him sucking down gallons of vodka on the weekends and all that stuff. But if he is smoking pot and doing it the right way before he goes to bed or whatever, he goes to the gym, I'm all for it.
Sure.
I really am. I don't even try to hide it or anything. I think that he is doing it for the right reasons. Sure, on the weekend, I'm sure he's probably getting stoned, but and I don't want him. I tell him I don't want you driving at all. There's no need for it, and I'd much rather you be home smoking on the balcony than out drinking an Ebor, which also happens. But you know what I'm saying. Very, very less frequently.
It's a much different day today.
Yes.
Just the conversation about cannabis and psilocybin and mushrooms. 2 years ago, you wouldn't even hear it.
No.
Now you're hearing it everywhere.
Mushrooms were a college kid's drug.
Yes.
You go find them and poop, clean them and eat them and get high and see things.
Sure.
Now people are taking them across the board.
You can take things the right way,
Yeah.
and you can take things the wrong way.
Yeah.
You can ingest too much THC, you can't.
Yeah.
But if you take THC the right way, it's your friend.
Yeah.
And I think psilocybin's the same way. And we have Canadelic Summer coming up. It's the world's largest cannabis and psychedelic convention. It's at the St. Pete at the factory. Cool little spot. And it's July 15th. You can get tickets. Go to Canadelic. That's CANNADELIC summer.com.
I see it from you, then I'm reading about it in Creative Loafing, and there's a lot of people now are taking interest in this that aren't just considering people who use drugs like that to be stoners or waste. Like, don't get me wrong, Spanish is still a waste,
Wow.
Still, all you do is sit home with Joe.
Wow.
Every time I call you, you're crapping or getting high.
I mean,
He's a loser.
I do like to poop. I'm not gonna
But
lie.
Joe has used it in a way to better his life.
That's not true.
Expanding my mind.
Look at him.
That's right.
Look at him. This
Yes,
guy,
I'm looking.
he's embraced it. He is a fashion icon.
That's right.
He's a man. He is much like Jack Kerouac. At the end of his life, he will have traveled many roads. He
No.
will have many stories. He will have affected many people's lives.
One
you
terrible road.
loser.
No.
Annoying
God.
loser.
I'm not. These are all erroneous claims and terrible. I can't wait to do mushrooms with you,
Hey,
Michael.
if you're a place that's interested in, like, I think this would also be good. First of all, there's gonna be a lot of people that just want to experiment for themselves, but there's probably a lot of business places that people are curious as to what you need to sell this stuff and how to, because there's more places like yours than these bong shops that are opening up everywhere. I believe those things are kind of ruining strip malls. And I don't mean the Cure Leafs and the places where you go in and with your marijuana card. I just mean these places that are like I was reading in the paper this weekend, they just shut that place down and that guy was just selling drugs over the counter, advertising for it.
Well, I mean, there's always people that push those limits.
Yeah.
And if you go to a normal head shop, they shouldn't be selling you marijuana there. That's against the rules.
Right.
If you come to our place, we'll not sell you marijuana. Okay?
Until the doctor is there.
Well, the
doctor will give you a thing.
He'll give you a card that you can go to the dispensary,
Right.
get the marijuana, then come back and you can smoke it in our lounge outside.
I've gone to two of those dispensaries before. The one that was on Dale Mabry, I think you told me about back in the day, and then there's one over here on 54 and 41. The process is amazing to me. It's like going to a doctor's office. You go in there and you have to have ID. You have to have your card. If you don't have your ID, they don't even let you wait inside. You have to go outside, and then you can tell them what you want. If you don't have to know anything, they help you out. They give you some choices, and then they give you different forms in which you could take it. And it's like being in a big pharmacy as opposed to being in some dude's basement getting bags of weed.
I was in Canada last weekend, and they had a little Mohawk resort where it was legal there and there's no taxing. And they were selling $10 ounces of weed.
Really?
And they were selling mushrooms over the counter.
That's the other thing. The prices are going to be, the prices are going to be ridiculous when you're not having to pay the VIG on the CIA VIG and all the other business. So, Canadelic, it is happening this weekend. I would recommend you buy tickets in advance, but you could probably get them there for a more expensive price. Will you be there in a vendor fashion, or will you just be there checking it out?
Be there, period. We, Dignitary is going to have our little booth there selling our kava and our kratom and Mitra 9s. And I think I might be either heading a panel or either being on a panel.
Pretend you're Afro Man. When you come out. I heard that goes over really well.
Well, that happened at Canadelic, Miami. That's when it happened.
So funny to me. If you don't know, when Ian was on the Canadelic panel in Miami, the lady said to him, and this guy needs no introduction, and talked about the FBI raiding his home, and Ian goes, "Who do you think I am?" And she said, "Afro Man." And he was like, "I'm not Afro Man." Oh, dude, that's one of the funniest things. Because you could have been like, "Oh, I'm sorry, ma'am. I think you're confusing me." You were like, "Who do you think I am?" Oh, it's
real proud moment for white women everywhere.
I can see it on her face though. Her heart.
Oh
yeah.
Her heart.
Sure.
Because I've been there before.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I put my arm around her. I go, "I've done what you've done for many years.
Yeah.
That wasn't your fault. Somebody should have come up here and told you this is Ian Beckles replacing Afro Man."
Right.
Because I've been on a Radio Row and stuff, and somebody sits down beside me. I have no idea who it is.
Sure.
And I should. And that's when you get yourself in trouble.
That's why I would bring Pete along to those things so Pete could lean in. Pete was like that Devil Wears Prada where they just walk around. This is the senator, and that's the old lady he left his wife for.
Great movie, by the way.
Oh, I love that movie.
I might have seen it 30 times.
I think I might have you beat.
I mean, I love that movie.
It is up there with That Thing You Do and The Godfather and all those movies I watch, almost
Scarface.
famous on repeat. I hate Scarface.
You know what's funny? Ron was the same way, and I don't love The Godfather. I don't love The Godfather.
Why?
I didn't get it.
I feel like we need to
I
watch
didn't
it
get
together. Let's watch it together so I can explain it to you.
It's 9 hours.
Do you know how I'm dying to somebody to watch The Godfather with me so I can answer questions for them? My wife, she was like, "What do you want for Father's Day?" I go, "Please watch The Godfather with me." And she was like, "Okay." I was like, "All right, great." And then we didn't do it. And then the next weekend, I was like, "All right, let's watch The Godfather." She goes, "No, you had one day. You missed
that was
One
it.
day.
The Ladies Man is that way for me.
The Ladies Man is
If
good.
you don't like The Ladies Man, you need to watch it again.
Yeah.
Watch
There
it
are
again.
movies like that where I watched, like Anchorman. I saw the movie there, and I was like, no, it's dumb. Then I watched it again.
Napoleon Dynamite. First time, dumbest movie.
Yeah.
Second time, got it. Third time, hilarious.
Yeah. It takes you a little while to
Nacho Libre.
figure it out. Nacho Libre.
So good.
Just seeing him in the suit is enough
Yeah.
for me.
He's funny. He's just funny. Yeah.
Moose went as Nacho Libre for Halloween one year on the cruise. It was great.
Yeah.
You should come on the cruise with us.
I've been asking to go on a cruise.
All right,
I've been,
let's get you on the cruise.
let's get on the cruise.
Now I wonder, can you bring the marijuana on the cruise now that it's like so legal everywhere?
I think cruises are the one place where they really don't mess
But
around.
they don't want you bringing it back. They don't
Yeah.
care what you bring on.
Yeah.
Allegedly.
They don't want you buying it and bring it
then
back.
we'll be fine.
Yeah.
I'll buy a
Right.
strap.
But I'm saying, like, if you're somebody with a marijuana card, you should be able to bring it on and off,
It's
right?
not that easy when you're going over state lines and country
Yeah.
lines, and that's
It's
when it
just like
gets
the-
funky.
It's
Yeah.
just like airports, like federal. Like you can't bring it from California. To
I
Florida,
did bring it
even-
from
I can
Right.
tell
Well,
you,
that's why I said
I can tell you the legality of it. I don't know, but I do know somebody who just has their card, walks on with it in their purse, and leaves with it.
Oh, really? Yeah.
I
did.
know a young man who got caught at Tampa International Airport with 50 pounds.
Oh my God! Wow, I
Pounds!
mean, that's
50 pounds, and
personal use.
they just took it. They didn't arrest him.
What?
Oh, really?
Well,
Took it?
they said, and he asked, "What's the number?" And they said it's 100 pounds.
Damn.
Ooh.
Or else they just, okay, if they arrest him, think about
Yeah.
this. Say Mo catches him with 50 pounds, right? And he says, "Oh, we're gonna let you go." That means they can take care of that 50 pounds.
Mhm.
If they arrest you, you don't get none of it.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
Oh.
nice.
You can go on with Delta products though, like the Delta 8, 9, and 11, right? You know
right,
these?
because you
Yeah.
can buy those at gas stations.
Right.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
I love
Well,
that you
I'd
think
say they're-
Mo's going to catch anybody. You know what I mean?
But 50
Hey,
pounds is
man.
not hard.
Yeah.
It's hard to hide.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
not hiding that.
Yeah.
Dude, I took it back from California when I went out to see Bert. I came back. We bought edibles, and they were so expensive. I'm like, I'm not leaving these here.
Nope.
My son's like, how you going to take them? I go, just throw them in your bag. And he goes, what about dog? And they're not sniffing your bag. And then I
They
was
look
like, you
for
know what?
bombs.
I just put them in my backpack.
Allegedly.
Carried them right on.
Yeah, allegedly.
No,
That's
I
a good
did-
story.
It was medicinal.
I
We
don't
had a
know.
card.
I don't think.
I messed around once and took an edible to go on the plane, and just before I'm about to go through the immigration, I realized I had another one in my pocket. So I was like, so I took it.
Yeah.
That was the worst idea I've ever done.
Yeah.
Because a couple times in my life I'd taken too many edibles, and you know when you're taking too many.
Yeah.
And that one time on the plane was the worst one.
Yeah.
Really?
Being up in the air at 2 a.m., not wanting to be on the plane
Yep.
was not good.
See, not one.
It was not.
I
good.
just think I sink into everything. I'm like, well, I'm
no,
playing
this is
now.
bad. This is
Massive anxiety. Every little turbulence you feel.
I couldn't
Yelp.
walk.
Yeah.
I got to go to the bathroom, but I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Dude, that was when I took too many at the All-Star game. And my son was like, can you take me to the bathroom? And I went, no.
No,
No.
And he was like, come on, Dad. I go, I can't, son. My legs don't work
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
They're literally weigh 300 pounds each, and I can't lift them up.
And if I fall on the way there, I'm not getting up.
That's it.
That's
Just
it.
gonna go to
Yeah.
sleep.
I live here now.
My favorite thing, and keep in mind, I'm doing this maybe twice, 3 times a year. Like, I'm not a. Talked to the doctor today. He's like, marijuana medicinally, and recreationally. And I go, and then he goes, well, what does that mean? Yes or no? I go, like maybe everyone's
You're not even.
right.
Yeah.
Not
And
even.
I go, maybe once, twice a year, you
Yeah.
know? But my favorite part about it is when you realize it's kicked in. Like when I was at that All-Star game and I'm like, why are they all wearing white? Why are we doing this in a hospital? And I went, oh God, we're not in
Yeah.
a hospital. We're
Yeah.
in the stadium. I'm really high.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the moment that it happens.
Yeah.
Kind of panic and funny at the same time.
Yeah.
You feel it crawling up your back,
100%.
and you're like, "Oh boy, here
Yeah.
it comes."
I bought the ticket. Now I got to take the
Here it
ride.
comes.
That's right.
Did you go to years ago, like maybe 10, 15 years ago, they had a tennis match at Amalie Arena. It was Kornikova and somebody
I was
else
there.
and Courier and
I was
somebody
there,
else.
yep.
We get tickets. I'm with, I don't want to say any names. He's a certain baseball player who pitched a perfect game.
Yeah.
And 2 other guys. And we had taken some stuff that day. And then it was back in the day where the T-Mobile Sidekick was the deal. And everybody's wearing tennis colors, white, light green and all that stuff. We're all in black T-shirts and jeans, sitting 4 in a row, high as can be on our sidekicks, texting each other. I'm so high. I'm so high. We're literally sitting 4 people in a row, not watching the tennis, and we're just like, this is crazy. We're so high. That's the best and worst part of it.
I went fishing with said Yankee player who pitched a perfect game, and this was when just after I played ball, and he was on a boat. I think it was with Dave Moore at the time, and he says, he goes, "Here, you want this joint?" I go, "No, I don't smoke." He looks at me, he goes, "What?" And I go, "No, I don't." And he goes, "Really?" Like he looked at me with this disgusting face, and then he pulls a pill out of his pocket. I go, "What is that?" He goes, "It's a Percocet," and I've never seen a Percocet like
It was a
this.
baseball
It was
Percocet.
huge.
Trust me, I've taken it.
And I go, "I'll take one of those." He goes, "Nah, dog." and he popped it, and that was the end of the story.
So you got the nah dog. I used to get the not just from him, but from all the baseball players at spring break. Take this, and I'm like, I'm 19, or 21, hanging out with baseball players. I'm like, yeah, give it to me. I'm telling you right now, I used to feel like not mad, don't want to. But if you would have said to me, "Hey, Mike, we need you to lift this building up and move it across the shop," I got no problem. I can take this building. Yeah. Well, the feeling that Percocet gives you, when people are like, "Oh, Percocets hurt my belly," I'm like, "I'll take them. I want them. I don't take them now."
I'm scared of them. And I'm not an adventurous person.
No.
Like I've taken this and that and very little things. And it's not because it's because I think I'll like it.
Yeah.
So that's why I don't take stuff that can ruin your life. I just don't do it.
No,
Listen,
I'm
the
the same way.
FDA said it's not habit forming. All right, you should be fine.
When I first had bad anxiety problems before I was taking medication for it, I went to the doctor and he gave me Xanax, and he gave me, I don't know what the milligrams were, but he gave me a giant bottle filled to the top. Usually my blood pressure medication is like filled halfway. This thing was filled to the top, and I could take it 4 times a day. And I went, 4 times a day? Who would function? I never took one. I was like, I'll deal with it. I'm fine.
I've taken Xanax before.
Yeah, I've taken it in my life.
I don't know how anybody thinks that that's going to eliminate something.
Yeah.
It doesn't. It just makes you. It just makes you tired.
I can't speak.
Makes you not care.
Yeah, I can't speak or walk or function.
Yeah.
So what I don't, and I took a half of one. I see people taking a whole one and then walking around during the day.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Do you know why you say you didn't take the Percocet? Why I don't do that anymore? And I'm talking before I was married, because Don Richards, the old news guy from FLA, came out in the hallway. He goes, "Hey, do you know who Chris Farley is?" And I go, "Yeah." He goes, "He just died." I went, "Oh my God, really?" He goes, "Okay, I got to go with it." I go, "What happened?" He goes, I know he was on Saturday Night Live, but I didn't know a lot about him. But the reaction that I'm getting from everybody in the building, I got to go break in with this."
Oh, okay.
And I said, "Oh, how did he die?" And he said, "Drugs and alcohol." And I was like, "Oh, yeah, that makes sense." And then I was watching a report, and they said he was drinking while taking Percocets, and it does your heart, speeds up your heart, slows your heart down a lot. And I went, yeah, that's what we were doing. I'm like, and he's fat. I can't do any of this stuff. That's why I've never done cocaine.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that one guy who does it the first time. And
I hear it's a blast.
Yeah. Who'd you hear from, Carmen?
I heard it was it's a great time.
I've
but-
watched
I
some
heard
of
it
my
from Spanish.
I watched some of my old teammates take 30 pills, 30 Percocets, and drink it.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then come back for some more.
That's insane.
30.
That is insane. Let me just tell you something. I love Charlie Belcher. I do. He's been a longtime
Wait.
friend, but I hope more than ever he gets attacked by these bees right now. He's on TV live on Fox 13, and he is at a place that's trying to help the honeybees. And he's in his bee suit, but they got one of those cartridges out. Maybe they're looking for the queen. I don't know what they're doing, but he's there. And I wish to God that they get in his suit somehow and just start biting him all over his ass.
That'd be the best.
And he's running around screaming. Oh, that would be the best television ever.
I like to text Jen Epstein, the lovely Jen Epstein sometimes. And sometimes I'll text Charlie and go, "How much money they paying you to do this?" Like he'll be in like BFE in like a craft place. And I'm like, you just don't look like you're enjoying it.
I was saying this morning. Sometimes when he's on the air and he's reading notes off his phone, he's like, "I'm out here at the bee place." He's looking at his phone. I send him naked pictures, but he'll write back to me and he'll go, "I shut my phone off when I'm on the air. There's no way I'm opening myself up to that." I was like, very smart, very smart.
Sneaky.
Canadelic this weekend at the factory in downtown St. Petersburg. Go join Ian and a bunch of other folks in the area if you want to learn more about kava, kratom, medicinal uses for marijuana and mushrooms and all these things you've been reading about and hearing about. There'll be experts there you can actually talk to. You can see panels. You can maybe even see Ian on a panel and use it as a learning experience. And for those of you who just want to go by and get high, I'm sure you can do that as well. Good luck with it, Ian.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome to hang out. I just got to take a break. So I don't know. I know Wednesday's massage day.
No, I already got it done this morning.
Oh, you go early?
I'm all loose.
Ooh, I can't go loosey-goosey in the morning. I go right back to bed.
Well,
that was the case.
That's what I'm going to do right now.
All right, good for you.
I got it like that.
All right, we got to take a break. A brand new open letter, and Dominic Ferriello will join us all in the next hour on 102.5 The Bone.
You're listening